World Expo is basically a fair. It's something that takes place every 2 to 3 years. Going back to a long history, actually, in 1851, the first Expo took place. And the idea is that every Expo is dedicated to a topic, and that then the countries take on a pavilion, a national pavilion, and explore this topic through their perspective. So the Expo, which has just come to an end, is Expo 2017 Astana, dedicated to the topic of future energy. We had about 110 national pavilions there, amongst them Switzerland, all dedicated to the topic of future energy. And it was interesting to see how each country also understands something different under future energy. So we had the Europeans who discussed future energy more through renewables. But then, of course, we had some other countries who have a different understanding of future energy. So the whole Expo, and this is the point of an Expo, is to offer a mirror to the world, to show how individual countries work, to showcase innovations from a particular country, and to, of course, promote the respective. So, as I mentioned, the topic of the Expo was future energy. So we, in the preparation of the Swiss Pavilion, we were looking for ways to make the topic of future energy or energy visible and to make it experienced by people. And that wasn't that easy, actually. Energy, as we know, is something which is per se invisible. We only ever see the final product most of the time, be it light, be it the movement of a vehicle. So we were looking for ways to make it graspable, to make it tangible, and at the same time, of course, crucially, to involve people and to make it interesting, because we are in competition with about 110 other pavilions. So through my colleagues at swissnex India, I heard about LEDsafari, I browsed the internet, and quickly came to realize that this would work actually quite well in an Expo setting, because it fulfills several targets in one go. It is engaging, of course, it is creative, all aspects we also want to have associated with Switzerland, and it's easy and it's simple. So it offered us the opportunity to get people to stay longer in the Swiss Pavilion and to teach them something at the same time. And the plug-and-play principle in particularly fit the context of an Expo, because 110 pavilions, a lot of competition, people normally aren't that interested in dedicating too much of their valuable time to an individual pavilion, but of course want to see what's happening in the German pavilion, in the Monaco pavilion, etc., etc. So I had a few doubts, but I thought we could try it, a 15-minute workshop, and in the end of the day, it worked just fine. I was convinced that this workshop was going to work, but I didn't think demand would be as overwhelming as it would be. We thought that maybe on a good day we can make 20 lamps, 20 people are willing to sit down into our swissnex space and build a lamp, 20 maximum. So we thought 500 for 3 months, that will get us through. I remember quite vividly the first day, we told our staff, okay, today we're doing the LEDsafari workshop. And then at around lunchtime, I went down and asked them, how's it going? And they said, oh, it's going really well. There's a lot of interest. And I said, okay, that's fine. And then towards the end of the day, I came down and asked them, so how many lamps have you built? And they said, I can't remember the exact number, but I think it was 80 or 90. And I was positively surprised. And I thought, oh, wow, this is great. This works really well. So, because it works well, we'd like to have more. So within 10 minutes, I wrote Govinda an email. Thanks to the time difference, it wasn't that late yet in Switzerland, so he immediately responded, and we decided to basically double our order from originally 500 to another 500,000 in total, just because we realized it works, people are interested, it's fun for our staff as well. That's also an important factor, not to be neglected. Two parties need to be happy, our staff who teach, our guests who build. And all in all, it was just a perfect package. So very quickly, just after day one, I realized it would be fantastic if we can have more, and luckily the friends at LEDsafari immediately responded and immediately on short notice produced and delivered those 500 XE units to Kazakhstan. It was helpful. So we had them in the background of the room whenever we did the workshops. It was helpful. The animations themselves are very beautiful, are very aesthetic, and they added a bit of texture and depth to the room. But in the end of the day, the most fascinating thing was the person-to-person contact. So the videos turned out to be very beautiful and they fit well into the room, and they were very helpful for the staff who then taught the workshop. For the visitors, they added value because they could see things in more detail, but then in the end it was always the person in front of them with whom they had the most conversations with and who conveyed the knowledge. So it was a wonderful element to the whole package of our workshop. As I said, I mean, the example I just mentioned absolutely summarizes it. So when we had a problem of wanting 400 more units, and I remember speaking to my colleague, I don't think it will work, but I'll ask anyway, and then being surprised myself when the response was, yeah, no problem. The team is dynamic, engaging, and fun. A real startup. I love working with startups. These are startups, and LEDsafari in particular, they're people who they don't see a problem, they see solutions. And this was extremely refreshing to work with them, so I hope at some point in the future we can work again together. LEDsafari I'd absolutely use again. As I said, the team are dynamic, the product is fantastic and fun, both for teachers and the ones who are being taught. It worked fantastically well in the context of the Expo. The product was adapted to our needs, so absolutely would I work again with LEDsafari.